Okay, now I'm going to present the client side of the application. So this is an application where the presentation layer executes on the client, okay, in JavaScript. So all the other layers we have seen so far are implemented on the server side using Spring Boot. And now we are going to use Vue.js, which is a JavaScript framework that simplifies a lot the programming and implementing the presentation part. Okay, so what happens here is basically that the presentation communicates with servers through remote communication, and I will describe that. And in this remote communication, the Java DTOs objects in the server are converted into JSON objects that are used in the presentation. Basically, in this first video, I'm going to show you a little bit just the elements that I'm going to address and the elements that you need to consider. So this is the front end code, is the JavaScript code that is implemented with Vue.js. You have the components folder. You have generic components that you use. Most of them you just use them. Okay, you don't need to change them. Probably you need to change the top bar, and the top bar is the component that basically contains what is here in the top. Okay, so that's so these menus are in this component. Okay, then you have the models. For instance, you have the activity model, and this is the is the JavaScript object. Actually, we are using TypeScript. Is the TypeScript object that corresponds to the DTO. So this is what is received in the communication. What is received here. So actually, I will show you that the information that is inside this object is the same information that actually is inside the activity DTO. Okay, so you just send the information to the other side. And so here you have these objects, these models. Then you have the services, and you have only two files in the services. You have a set of utilities to convert dates, and you have the remote services. And in the remote services is where you do the calls. So it's where you basically do the remote invocations. Okay. So there you will find that where you basically invoke the controllers. So we'll find things like this, calls to gets and posts to the web services. So this happens here. Then you have the views, okay? And the views is basically what is going to be presented in the interface. So the views are, for instance, this is a view. So you will find an object, a TypeScript object, but a Vue.js object to do this presentation. Okay, so these objects are actually in these folders. Okay, and I will discuss them. There are two other objects that are relevant. One is the router object, which I will describe, and basically this is where you map the URLs on the client side to views. So basically this is the point where, for instance, you map these admin users that you find here to this component, this view. So this mapping. So that's where when you give this address, the Vue.js decides which view to present. Okay, these mappings are different from the mappings in the server side. Okay, this is in the client side. This is the navigation of the pages in the client side. And finally, I will present, and you need to know about the store. And basically, the store contains a set of data like this state that is common. So this is like global variables that all the views can can access and share. So, for instance, one thing that we'll find is that, for instance, the information about the user that is using the application. So, any view, anytime I move here, okay, I can, in each one of these pages, I can actually access the information that is in the store. Okay, so this is just introduction, and then I will go for each one of them in detail.